Hello everybody, we had a really nice talk today with Melody and Alan there. Alan is part of my Sun and Moon group on Facebook and Melody does nearly everything on Facebook. She has a very good following. I wouldn't have said this is my best recording. It's the best that I can do. So yeah, I can't do anything. I can't change anything now. I don't know why the whole thing was going up and down and up. I've had to go and put the volume up, but I can't put Melody up too much because it makes her too bassy for the Hangout. So I'm hoping that this comes across okay. She's a really great person. So's Amy, so's Alan. But this was meeting Melody on a talk. Melody is quite wild and quite outward going and says what she wants, basically. But on Facebook it's different than it is on YouTube. But anyway, I hope everybody enjoys this hangout as best as possible. It's not the best quality, but it's a good talk. Hey, we're back here today. We have two lovely ladies here. We have our Amy and we have the lovely Melody. Girls, it's not guys, girls. I asked Melody to have a hangout with us because I think she's quite a wild, aren't you, Melody?
I mean, rumored to be, yeah.
I've watched some of your hangouts, or whatever you like to call them, Melody. I've watched them.
I can either confirm or deny those allegations.
Yeah, so we were just saying it's very hard to, you've got to be careful what you say, what you do, and you were just about to say something, Melody.
Absolutely. I mean, because what we're up against here is utter tyranny, where speech is pretty much becoming non-existent. If you're not very careful with your wording, regardless of what platform you're choosing to upload on, be it YouTube, Facebook, any of these main platforms, Instagram just changed their service agreement. So, I mean, we're dealing with people who are unable to even say certain words. If we're saying certain words, it's triggering their algorithm, which is automatically putting a ban on the video. So the red flag to all of this is, why are they, when I say they, I'm referring to the elite cabal of criminals that are currently running the world.
Right, okay.
Why are they, why are they so fucking concerned about us crazy conspiracy theorists and what we're saying if it wasn't true? And I can explain that because we're all energetic vessels. We are all energy. The whole universe is basically rhythm, vibration, all of that, right? So when you speak something that's a fact, that is true, universally true, it resonates with people at a specific frequency. It resonates and it penetrates them in their energetic core, not just the muggle meat suit, that we're wearing, but their energetic core. So people will hear the truth and it speaks to them on a soul level. Now, lies, not so much. That is why the media propaganda machine is constantly regurgitating their false narrative, which in America, it was made legal under the NDAA Act by Barack Obama to use propaganda against American people.
They were doing it before, Melanie, they were doing it before that. I mean, I've come across loads of footage
but
where...
Then, but the fact that they signed it into law and people still don't acknowledge that, okay, yes, this has been going on since the dawn of the government. They used propaganda, back in the old days where they used to sail ships and they would fly kites, literally. You get that expression of flying a kite, like when you're in jail, you're in the other cell and you're like, hey, fly a kite to this guy, Well, that came from back in the day in wars when they would be on big Navy ships and they would fly a kite with propaganda over the other ships so that they could pull the kite down and see what the cause of it all was, So the whole thing being, I don't know where I was going because but the whole thing being the truth, and when people hear the truth, it hits them on a core level. So they're trying to do whatever they can to block people from hearing it because the truth will trump a lie any day. their lies are faulty. We can watch mainstream media in any country at any given time and think, what the hell? Where are they coming up with this shit? You know, I even buy a local hospital and there's nobody there. But these guys are telling me that we're running out of beds. Like 2 and 2 isn't adding up to 4.
They don't really want us
It's this faulty
talking,
math
do
going
they?
on.
They don't
What's
want us.
that?
They don't want us coming together as people and talking. That's what they don't really want. And anybody that sticks out gets swiped off.
Absolutely, and that has been from, Caesar's era, where it's the divide and conquer technique of old Rome.
I mean, do you know
They
what? On
divide the people.
Facebook about 2 years ago, I didn't like this subject at all, but I used to, suddenly there'd be a video and there'd be a dog being burnt alive. Then suddenly they've got all these weird challenges and you're not allowed to do that. You're not really allowed to do anything. If you're promoting their lies, they just want you to promote the lies,
Yes,
and
my
I
darling.
can't do it.
Because we're living in 1984.
Yes.
We're living Orwell's 1984, okay? That's why. Because we knew this day was coming. And Orwell, as Bill Cooper stated, who wrote Behold a Pale Horse, he actually stated that, Orwell was a lower-level British intelligence. And he felt, as Will Cooper had been involved in lower-level military and had discovered their plan, and he became a whistleblower to their agenda, he always felt as if Orwell had used these novels of the fantasy to disclose information to the public as a warning, you see, and people, he could at least read the book and take warning of it. So that was an interesting thing that I felt many should know, is understand that Orwell was actually lower-level British intelligence. And so writing these books wasn't too far off from where we're actually at. So it makes you wonder if he did actually see these agendas some point and wanted to disclose what was happening, but did it under the guise of fiction.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was low-level British intelligence. I had no idea of that. Wow.
Yeah, and so, I mean, these whistleblowers, and the truth is actually stranger than fiction when you think about it.
Yeah.
It really is, and that's where they bank on you not being brave and speaking the truth, because most people in the program will stand and point and scoff with their finger out, mocking you when you're going against the mainstream narrative. And this is the herd mentality that we're up against.
Well, they don't want individuals, do they? They don't want us to be individuals. They don't want, and I'm not like that myself.
Yes, ma'am. Yep, exactly. They want a bunch of yes, ma'am. Because anybody who's got a unique individual, they want us all cookie cutter. They want us all looking like the same with our plastic surgery and our Kardashian idols. They want us all consuming the same stupid products and most of the poison food. They want us all acting the same and worshiping these sports and these other idols that they put up for us to worship and keep us distracted. As long as we are slaves in their web of wants and needs, then they're fine with it. But you take somebody who's kind of, I like to refer to it as unplugged from the matrix and going against the grain, is also kind of what we're talking about in the Bible. The road less traveled. It said the path is narrow. So those of us walking the narrow path are actually gaining the understanding in our psyche, in our consciousness of the reality of the world we're living in. It's the people that follow the herd and go in the wide path that are lost, you see. So, I mean, at this point, all we can continue to do is attempt to help others see, but in the reality, many people are connected to this, and that's all it takes, is the sense to keep this thing going. And until people stop consenting across the world, this has to be like a mass exodus of the entire governing agenda here with all.
I do like the bit when you said about the fact that they're pounding us every day over. And I actually signed up to it because I wanted to. A lot of half my audience are American, and very often you don't even know what's going on in the other countries. So I like to put out what they're giving us as headlines so people can see it. But every day, pound, pound, pound. It just so annoys me. It's about every 20 minutes, 10, 20 minutes. Another one comes through, another one, all day long, saying the same thing, how bad everything's getting, when you know it's not true.
No, it's absolute fear-mongering.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think the media are just as bad as the politicians, to be honest.
Oh, they're criminal. They're wicked. These people not ethical. There's no ethical politician in America right now. You can't tell me otherwise.
It's a very strange place for you to be, isn't it? I know
at that level it has any morality.
I know you probably don't believe, once you wake up, you don't follow the blue and the reds. So I imagine that you don't care who's president. But what a weird place to be. What is it, 2-3 weeks on, and Trump hasn't put the arms down, and he's doing law cases, and nobody knows who's the president. I just think that's really weird.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. You know, and I can sit here and tell you that there is a plotted agenda behind this. Now, this is not a coincidence that this has all happened this year. It's been in the running. You know, we all know the agenda for the year. I don't want to say it because I don't want to get banned or flagged. But so we know that this has been an agenda. And the fact that they put him in office to usher this kind of thing in, and they use this Q psyop and all of these other things to build this cult-like following for this guy, right?
Yes.
And they created the biggest division. There could not have been a larger parallel to two puppets that they could have chose, right? So they created that on purpose. They did it to create a clear divide. So people have drawn a line in the sand. We definitely don't want him, or we definitely don't want him. And so there's this really big division amongst the population of Americans right now. And that is by design, because they have to be divided in order to come for America's guns. And I know this is something that a lot of people don't really understand, but this is what they have to do in order to usher in the complete cabal takeover. We have, here in America, there's a gun behind every bush, you know what I mean? These guys are armed to the teeth, and they've been indoctrinated from the time they were born, and their parents prior to them, and their grandparents prior to them, with this sense of patriotism for America. And we're sick. We are a sick country, and we are the bullies, if you ask me. We've went and picked on people in wars, and
that's if they're true, Melody. That's if they're true, because don't forget, there was a reporter that came out, whether she's true or not, because you never know what's true for the news. So they pay for it. Make me a war. Make me something nice. They pay for it, and these companies make it. So we don't even know if any of the wars are real. Not the First World. That was all to the Tartaria build and taking our children. And the Second World War was also another destroying of Tartaria buildings and taking children. That's what it was when we came over, you know, in the 1800s, when everybody was flocking out people into, you know, isolation and took the children. It's been going on since day dot.
Exactly. And
we're not stupid, because people like you, people like you and me, we work this ourselves. We look at information, we look at things, and when we work this all out, no one tells us. We work these things out ourselves.
Yes, but honey, we're not involved in the matrix, you see, and most people are. And that's where it becomes a problem, because most people are looking at those updates from those news sites every 20 minutes and believing the lies that they're reading. And they're not going and doing their due diligence outside of those mainstream sources at all. They're just taking that as fact and saying, oh, well, the government would never lie to me. You know what I mean?
How do you, like Amy and I, our children are much older. You've got a little child, haven't you? So how do you feel with all this happening when you've got a small child?
I have 3 kids.
Right.
And it's an absolute nightmare.
Oh.
It's an absolute nightmare. The kids are really struggling because this is nothing but a nightmare for them, where they can't hang out with their friends. And it's not because I wouldn't allow them to, it's these other parents. These other parents have gotten so sick with fear, they're keeping their kids segregated in masks, and I refuse to do that to my children. So when they're closing the parks down like they did this summer, they closed the parks down for the children. They've done all of this stuff, so it's really hard. They're feeling isolated. And then with the online schooling, it's a hard transition going from an in-classroom setting to an online setting for them, because that's a huge learning curve for somebody like my 8-year-old, you know, who's better with it in class setting. But I mean, kids are really resilient, so they have a really
because
strong
you
mama,
made a video,
who's
you made
not
that
brainwashed.
You made a video,
So
not
it's
that.
a little bit easier for them. But I can't imagine how some of the other kids are handling all of this.
You made a
who don't
video
have
not
a
very
mom
long
who kind
ago,
of semi-understands.
Melody, you made a video. Basically, your daughter was asked to vote, and you didn't like it.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Any cut was coming through the public school curriculum on that, which it happened often. The first week that they were put out of school, one of the very first assignments she was assigned was why it's important to obey your government. I shit you not.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, oh yeah. So every time one of those assignments is assigned to her, I send those teachers an earful right back and tell them why she's not consenting or complying with that assignment. But yeah, during the voting, they were trying to get kids to participate in that, and I was completely baffled when I seen the amount of brainwashing that they were using on the kids to get them to buy into this criminal system.
Yes.
That's how ridiculous when she's 8, isn't she?
Yeah, yeah.
She's 8 years old, and how, anyway, making children make decisions like that.
And not only that, but there was another assignment where they wanted her to take a picture of her home and upload it publicly, a picture of the front of the house with their street address, uploading it publicly in this class assignment. I said, what are you people teaching here? These children to upload their home and their home address on the internet at 8 years old? I do not consent to this. She will not be participating in this. Who knows who has access to these kids and their addresses being uploaded onto this this assignment? You know what I mean? But that's what we're teaching now. In my day, it was stranger danger. We wanted to teach the kids not to disclose their name and address to people in public, but teaching kids to go out front and take a picture of their home and upload it onto the internet with their address. I'm thinking, are we trying to keep kids safe from predators, or are we trying to build a catalog for predators to find the kids? What are we doing?
Well, the second one, I think.
Exactly. And that's what's sick, is that the parents were complying with that left and right, and all their pictures and their houses were going up on this site, and I was seeing it. And Tanya's like, I've got to get this done. And I said, absolutely, you are not participating in this. And so I emailed the teacher, and I was like, absolutely, she will not be doing this. Yeah.
Well done, Melody. Well done. There needs to be more people like you. That's what I say.
I can't imagine how many people, if this is a private, or if this is a public curriculum or a requirement, how many people are doing this, and how many kids are not being taught that is actually very dangerous.
Thing is, Melody,
it's bad enough.
It's not even that. It's just that it's not being done for the right reasons. That's why.
Yeah.
If it was all innocent and all in the class and it was all whatever it was, but it's not being done like that. They just get a catalogue of everybody's names and addresses.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just like a junior elementary census or something. They're for criminals. I don't know. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. And I know that the state and all of those people have been kidnapping kids. The system is completely jacked. You know what I mean? The sex trafficking, everything that has gone on far too long. And this year, thank goodness, one good thing came out of the Q PSYOP, which was the attention was brought on to all of the missing children that has been ignored for decades. The amount of children that have gone missing.
Wow.
Right.
Can I just ask, obviously, you go more on Facebook, don't you? You do a lot more hangouts and you do a lot more of it. It's all on Facebook for you, isn't it?
I do have a YouTube channel. I don't have, maybe like 85 subscribers on there, but I have posted some stuff on YouTube. But majority of the people that have found me on Facebook.
You did
and, I never really imagined that I was going to be somebody publicly, speaking like I am. It just was kind of one of these days. It was just like, all right, well, this is what you're doing. So it's kind of like, do you accept the mission, where you're like looking at the button and it's like abort mission, accept mission. And I was just like, fuck it. Yeah. What else am I going to do? And I just kind of went balls in and just started really speaking out publicly against the machine and the beast. So.
Good for you, Melody. Good for you.
Yeah.
You did something a few weeks ago, didn't
you?
You? You did something a few weeks ago, didn't you? We had all those people coming in and all that. Explain a little bit about that.
Okay, so we're talking about the Truth Telethon. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. It was a couple of weeks ago you were doing this.
There's a couple things I've done just privately on my own page with people who are like pretty devoted kind of followers. I would say it's kind of like the name Gutter Tribe kind of was given to me because people were coming at me because I'm foul-mouthed, and I don't want to sit and tiptoe and hit people with my purse when I'm talking the truth. These are things that are fucking very serious matters, and I don't think I need to tiptoe around with pretty language so that you fucking people can feel safe. Like the truth is ugly, and so is my language, so fuck off, you know what I mean? So people were getting all offended and be like, well, your message would be more received if you weren't so gutter-mouthed, or, you sound like gutter trash, and it's like, fuck you people, I don't give a damn about what you think about my language, So the High Vibe Gutter Tribe is just kind of what I would refer to kind of like my group of people who are kind of devoted to following me and have the same belief system. So I'll get on lives and I'll just have members of the tribe on there with me, and we'll kind of rotate through just so that they know how important they are to me and that we're a family. And just because I'm out here doing most of the speaking, it's like I'm talking for all of us. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you very much, Melody.
It's a family.
Thank you.
It's not just about me, and it's about the oneness of the collective of people here who are utterly sick and tired of being oppressed by criminals and who really want to see the collective consciousness come online to the truth so that we can start making the necessary changes to remove these criminals from power and to stop this jack move on humanity right now. So I do that with people who are like devoted followers and who really resonate with the message. But I did participate in October in a Truth Telethon, which a good friend of mine, Lori, put together. And there is going to be another Truth Telethon. I'll be appearing on the second one as well, and that's going to be December 11th. So I don't know which of those are you're referring to, but those are kind of
I think
things that I've been involved with.
There was loads of people coming in on it.
It's hard to know.
So we don't. So everybody knows we don't really know each other very well, do we? We just know each other a little bit because I've been messaging Facebook.
Yeah, and I think it connected us. Alan was like, "My friend Karen, you got to get with her," and I thought, okay.
Yeah, I'll add him in on the. I'll add him in on the conversation.
I realized, and I don't know if you realize this, Karen, since you've been speaking out publicly. But it's like some people really get caught up in the ego of it.
Yeah.
And they really, it's like a competition for these people. And I'm thinking, the more the freaking merrier. The more people out here coming together, united and speaking the truth, the better. So put your fucking egos to the side, people. This is humanity's issue. This isn't about your popularity, my popularity, because there's people that have badmouthed me, literally me. And I'm like the kindest, gentlest soul. Yeah, I have a bitter and ugly mouth, but the truth fucking hurts, man. And if you can't do that, then my God, go sit in the corner and cry until they come for you. But me, I'm going to go out on my feet fucking like a damn shield maiden Viking goddess, I'm not going to cower down to fucking criminals. You got me fucked up. So the people who have literally badmouthed me, I've been accused of being an Illuminati shill. Can you imagine?
Oh my
Because of
God.
this. I'm telling you, girl, these people, they're just relentless, and anything they can do to talk about you to keep popularity, So people will see some other person getting popular, and instead of being like, yes, good, the message is getting out there, they're sitting there spiteful, and they start this little gossip gal circle, and then it's like, what is going on? This is exactly what the cabal wants us to do.
But Melody, when you
amongst each other, and they want our message fractured, so it's not hitting the ears where it needs to hear. So I'm not sure if Facebook and these other platforms are getting weaponized against each other. Like,
the thing is, once you put yourself out,
but
once you put yourself out on a public platform, though, people can say, oh, I don't like her, I do like... They can make comments about you. That's the unfortunate bit about when you put yourself out. But that we do it, that we actually put ourselves out there in the public, and then people make these comments. I'm hurtful that... Yeah, it is a little bit, isn't it? But they don't... Those ones probably don't see the whole thing, do they? So they're a bit lost in the first place.
Exactly. And they don't understand, and that's why it's important to just love on my people that really do love and support me. It's like, because they are my go-to, man, because it is hard out here. When you do step up and you do put your face out there to the message, a lot of people can share memes and they can share links, and that's a big part of getting the message out there too. But people who are using their voice, they're using their face to put the message out there, they are more under attack than just somebody who's sharing a meme, because they are then become the easy target, not the meme creator. Someone may comment negative remarks on a meme, and it's like, hey, I just shared it. It's not me that came up with it. It's like, we're actually speaking our own thoughts, our own ideas. So it's like rapid fire on us. So if it wasn't for these people helping me just continue to carry the message on with their love and support, I probably would have given up and said to hell with it. But that's kind of something that I was going to keep doing, is when I started seeing the response that I was getting to the messages as I was starting to gain the strength to come out publicly and start sharing my message. I've seen that people were really supportive of that, and that's what's given me the strength to keep going.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good for you, Melody. It isn't that easy, Occasionally I have these odd messages, and they go, well, they're talking about me, like it's my channel. If you don't like it, don't come.
Right.
Exactly. And I tell people that all the time. Oh, girl, do you get those people who feel like they got to really send you like a whole report of why they're leaving? I get that shit. People will be unfriending me or blocking me, and it's like they'll send me this long marathon message of all of the things that I've done to displease them and why they're fucking off. And I'm like, well, I don't need a fucking itinerary of all of your disappointments, so just fuck off, and I would have never missed you. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Come or go. I don't care.
We don't have time for all that anymore, though, do we, Melody? We're running out of time, I think. We don't have time for all that. If you don't like it, go away.
Yeah, fuck off, man. That's people don't realize just how sinister this agenda is going to become real quick. This is phase 1. Phase 2 is even uglier. But what people don't realize is that there is going to be a crack and release. They are going to try and really kill off a bunch of us. And I don't know exactly how they're planning to do it. That would be speculation. But they have this actually written out, these criminals. And this has been the phase 1 to test the waters, see how many people are controlled, to go and monitor social media, see what each individual is saying, and go back and see how they're going to have to tweak it to control moving into phase 2. Are we going to go civil war with the Trump declaring martial law and forcing a re-election count by the military? Are we going to go with, Biden wins, and then he comes in and they're doing a gun grab because we already have military strategically placed across America? So they're tweaking information for phase 2 here in America based on the public's response. But what the public doesn't realize is that this is just the beginning, and if they don't wake up soon, then they're going to be in real trouble.
Do you know what they did, Melody? Melody, what they did was they did things like I met Amy when I was doing the Watts case. It's not real. They make a case. They make everybody flock in, millions watching this case, and felt quite depressed with what happened and all the things that were happening around this case. And I think it's okay if you're giving an opinion on something. So people were giving their opinions and sticking up for the family or whatever was going on. But the case wasn't real in the first place. And things like Crime Watch Daily aren't real. People watch them over and over as a person, then there's a court, then they go to prison or they go to death row. But none of them are true. They're just making them up to make it look like we're this arguing, bad set of people. When actually in reality, when they said, right, we're closing down overnight, we didn't even need one police officer or one soldier.
Right.
So the total opposite's happening. But I think when it's actually affecting your life, people might start going, oh, no, I say no now. When they wanted everybody to say yes, because everybody's been saying yes, yes, yes for so long to everything. Right. And it's not happening, I don't think. It's not. Or more up now.
Well, and
it's holding the whole world.
But it is. I've seen things happening in other countries that I'm really pleased about. People using their voice and rebelling against these things. But they're not showing that on CNN. You're not seeing this on the mainstream news. You're seeing this from individuals. And shortly after those kinds of videos are uploaded, so it's really hard. And that is why it's nice to have such a group now that have been located worldwide, because I can kind of get the down low of what's happening in these other countries that people can't see. I can't share every video because they're sent off of these social media platforms, but at least I know what's happening. And they're never going to show us that, what's really going on inside. And they're really waking the sleeping giant of the people in humanity right now by really pressing this. And they like to fudge these numbers and say, oh, this many people are compliant. But in reality, the silent majority is anti, really. Yeah. Nobody wants this fucking poisonous concoction.
Yeah, Lyrus.
Nobody.
Lyrus. Remember Lyrus. Say the Lyrus.
Absolutely. Did I say the...
No, it's okay. You're okay. But just say, remember, try and remember it as the Lyrus, because YouTube are very strange about words that are used, but we all say Lyrus instead now. Yeah, well, we're same. You know, we try as much as possible on my channel to talk about it. But you know, I put something out on one of my channels. I got a warning the other day. That's what they do for doctors who are telling the truth. So they don't want the truth. They just want their agenda.
Some channels say the double X for code.
Well, they just want their agenda, don't they?
The double X are live.
Yeah.
And what a sad state, ladies, that we have to sit here like we're in Nazi Germany and think about every word that we're saying because the thought police are always listening. That's a real fucking sad reality when humans have to sit and worry about what words they're using, right?
Yeah.
What kind of shit show have we allowed to take place here?
Oh, I know.
Isn't that sad that we have to sit here and be like, oh, no, you can't say that. It's like Anne Frank behind the fucking wall. Shh, be quiet. Be quiet. You know what I mean?
I mean, I just don't know how we got in here. Yes. And like you said, it's going to get worse and time's running out. And we just have to get something done. And some people are starting to break down the stress of it, and they're ready to go ahead and say they'll take the remedy for the virus. And
isn't that sick?
Hear that? Yes.
And they're bribing people with money.
Yes.
They've starved people out, you know, with this entire Orwellian nightmare. They've starved people, put people out of business as far as small businesses, and the fat cats have gotten fatter throughout all of this. So all of the rich guys are getting richer, but all the mom and pop shops are struggling, and people are really suffering trying to feed their families. And now they're like, well, if you do this, then you can get this much money as a stimulus package. It's like, these criminals are sick. If they, this is just complete sick shit, man.
Yes.
Sick shit.
And I just saw in a video the lady was covering the headlines, and certain group, I guess I could say it, is behind this, is expecting people in the future that we're to eat weeds and drink sewage. That is what they are expecting us to do, while the rich are getting so rich. And honestly, she had it right straight from the three-letter agency. It starts with a W, and that they are planning, because a lot of it's all blends in with the United Nations and their sustainable goals. And they said, yeah, you can eat weeds, they could be quite nourishing, and insects, and drink sewage. So that's the kind of thing. But they won't expect the rich people that have gotten so rich off of all of this to do that. Just, us people. And it's just
right. And
people. Yes.
They always disclose their agenda in their films and stuff. And that statement reminds me of that movie Snowpiercer. Where the people are on the rail car. Oh, and they're feeding them like the roach bars of like the cockroach bars. And the rich people are like eating the fish and have the fresh, nutritious food. And all of the poor people back in like the third class, they're like just serve these nasty bars just to basically keep them alive so they can keep working to power the trade. And it's like, if the people start to see, it's like ritual mocking. They mock us all for being so stupid and complying with all their shit. And it isn't until we all stop going along with it that it's going to change. But people don't even see that needs to happen because they refuse to see that they're enslaved.
Exactly.
Well, it's nice to know that someone younger is also doing things as well, because you're a youngster, aren't you?
That's right.
I'm trying to do what I can, because like I said, what else are we going to do? If we're not doing this and really spending our energy to kind of stop this from happening, how do you go to bed at night? How do people look at themselves in the mirror and say, okay, I'm fighting for my kids' futures, or I do not want this to happen, and then do nothing about it? How do you go to sleep with good conscience knowing that you are not using your voice before they completely ban us from it, Right now, we are not completely banned, even though we're having to tiptoe around our verbiage a little bit. We're still able to get the message out there. But there's going to come a time where they completely take that away from us, too. And people are going to only have access to their narrative. So the truth is going to be even harder to get your hands on. So what then, people? What then? If you're not out there right now using your God-given voice, then God damn it, you better wake the fuck up and start speaking the truth. Because you are gonna, you're gonna regret it at some point. And I always like to refer to that Braveheart clip, William Wallace, and he says, you would give every day from this to that to come back here and tell your enemies that you can take our lives, but you will never take our freedom, Yes. And so that's how he got all of those people rallied to fight that day by that speech. And it's like, that's absolutely correct. You sit there like a passive little pussy and watch the world go to shit today. In 20 fucking years, 30 years, 40 years, when you're watching your kids grow up in a complete dystopian fucking nightmare under the boot of tyrants, you're going to lay there in bed and thought, well, when all of this was popping off, why didn't I do something to stop it?
That's right.
So stop being fucking cowards. Put your big boy pants on. Grab your fucking shield and join the fucking fight, people, because this is the time. The time is now. We have to take advantage and stop this stuff before it comes into complete fruition. Yeah. And the only way to do that
I mean, it may not actually happen.
And uniting.
It may not actually happen, but it's the thought of what they're capable of doing, and it taking our freedom away, where we're not allowed to say anything. I mean, the whole world, they're trying to bring in it's been here anyway, one world order, hasn't it? But they're trying to push all that in.
Yeah. And, it may not happen, but I would suspect that they didn't come this far to not see it to the end. This has been a plan decades and decades in the making by all of the powers across the world. The UN has been involved in this agenda.
I mean, have you ever heard of
people planning this many decades just to see it start and not them just retreat?
Have you ever seen
they're not going to stop without a fight?
Have you ever seen anything like they talk about? It's not anywhere, but suddenly now we've got a whole Spanish flu epidemic which happened, which isn't in history.
That's weird. Yeah. They do that, though. I mean, they're in control of all of that. And that's what gets crazy, and is because they control history, and they're trying to erase history. And
I'm not sure whether history changes when you wake up. When you wake up, you see things so differently, and it changes the history then for you, because when you were with everything, you realise it differently. It's changed everything for you. So I'm not sure if that brings the Mandela effect in. More people that wake up, the more it's changing in people's minds.
Yeah, the Mandela effect, actually. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
It's just, I just find it quite incredible that
I remember the Bernstein Bears. I remember it as Bernstein.
Yes. Well, when I'm 8 years older than my sister, when she was growing up, she's like 46, and when she was growing up, they called it the Berenstain. But then my daughter, she's 31, it was Berenstain. So I don't, it's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it really was Berenstain for my sister, because I was 8 years older. I would read to her. The books were cute and everything. And then my daughter came along, and I got the same books for her. I was like, now it's Berenstain. And
what in the actual fuck is going on? Exactly. And it makes you wonder if it has anything to do with CERN and what they're doing with that Haldron.
Yeah, I don't like that one.
How are they affecting our reality with that? We'll never know.
That's yes.
Because they're not going to tell us. They're not going to disclose what they're doing. But it really makes you wonder.
It does.
How that affects, because it wasn't until that kind of came about that I started really noticing anything regarding the Mandela effect and some of that stuff. But once they fired that, colander or Hadron Collider online, it was like, wow, I started noticing little shifts and things. And it's like, does that have anything to do with, the Mandela stuff? So we'll never know. We can only speculate this stuff.
Right.
But what I can say is it's not necessary. We're not here for that. People aren't here just to be enslaved by criminals and work their life away for pennies and barely get by slaving away to these fucks. We're here to enjoy our lives. We don't need them. And when people realize they'll be governed by criminals and psychopaths, we'll be better off for it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Well said.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Stop giving your power to fucking psychopaths, man. These people. And I don't even know if they are people. There's speculation around that too. Like if they're lizard people or what are they? Because it's hard to fathom that humans would act this way,
No.
What are these things? Who are they?
Yeah, it's a bit, I feel a bit like more time at home, don't you? A lot of your friends end up being on the internet, so what they're doing to us right now hasn't overly affected my life, but the thought that I can't go out and the fact I go out and everybody's got masks on and I'm not wearing one, it's just, where are we going? There's hundreds of them out there believing it. Oh, look, she's not wearing a mask, stay away from her. They think I'm the virus.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
They make us feel like biological weapons, that, we're dangerous to each other, that we have to have a mask and keep our distance, and think it's really horrible and ugly.
Yeah, they've brainwashed people.
Yes.
Into believing that everybody's a threat and to be fearful. And they've done it by pumping the narrative out every 20 minutes on these news sources. When you think about majority of the people, they are brainwashed and they rely on these people for instruction. Whether or not they believe it or not, they do. Who do they go to? What news do they check? They check the mainstream sources, and they take everything that is being fed to them as fact, which anybody who's red-pilled at all knows that that's the first thing you do when you wake up, is you're like, X-nay on the mainstream media. There's no more. Because you realize everything that comes out on there is propaganda for the machine. So that's things that people do when they wake up. But these people, unfortunately, haven't woke up yet, so they still worship these broadcasters. Who are casting out this narrative into the minds like a big magic spell by warlocks, really.
Yeah.
Sorcerers.
Yeah, we've been talking about this. I mean,
of mass deception, weapons of mass deception is all they do.
Yes.
That's what the media is.
It is.
Sorry, I've got messages coming through. I'm just going to stop the recording just for 2 seconds. Hey, Alan's joined us. The reason we're here is because of Alan.
Hey, Alan.
Hi, Alan.
Hi, Alan.
Hi.
You are on with Melody, Alan. Alan, you're on with Melody now. Have you got anything to say to her then?
Yeah, I was just blown away when I met you, and I've been meeting all kinds of people. It's just crazy that's going on in the world right now. It's just,
It is, and Melody puts it to rights, don't you, Melody?
I try. I'll do my best,
But anyway, Alan, thank you so much, because Alan's the reason that we're here, because Alan talked to you and helped us get onto this phone call together. So thank you, Alan.
Yes.
You're very welcome.
Yes, Alan, thank you for all the support, my friend.
Yep.
We're in this together.
Yeah, Alan watches all your
coming down.
Yeah, he watches all your hangouts and stuff that you do on Facebook, don't you, Alan?
Yes, it is.
What do you think, Robert?
Yeah. Yep. So what you guys going to talk about?
Well, Melody's been putting everything to rights at just for the last half an hour, haven't you, Melody?
I mean, I guess I think, we're all kind of on the same vibe. We all believe the same things need to change, and we're all doing our own part in trying to be the change that needs to take place out here by leading by example and being brave.
Right.
Alan.
It's not easy, but I think we're doing
it. Alan, we can't have all the other people there. Alan, either the people there are in our conversation or they have to be quiet, because we can't have all these conversations.
Yep.
I'm telling you off, Alan. He's just joined the phone call and I'm telling you off.
They're told.
Yeah, be quiet, boys. Be quiet, boys. Or join in the conversation. Yeah, so Alan. Alan has been watching you for a while, haven't you, Alan? Melody.
Yeah. I've been watching you a couple, 2-3 years now, Karen.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Melody, haven't you? Oh, yeah. Alan's been a supporter for rather a long time to my channel, but you've been watching Melody, haven't you, as well?
Yeah.
He wrote
that Truth Telethon. I met half a dozen real nice people.
There you go, Melody. It's worked. The Truth Telethon worked.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It's awesome. And, we've even seen some other people kind of spinning off of the idea and doing similar things with, kind of back-to-back speakers, which is great, I like to see that. It's not a competition. It is about people using their voice and sharing the message. So The more the merrier. People take it and run with it, man. This isn't about us. This is a bigger picture here. We're talking humanity. So these events, I know Lori worked really hard to orchestrate that Truth Telethon. It was a collaboration between her and Jesse and Alan, and they pulled it off, and it was great. But there's a lot of work behind the scenes to get that many speakers on back to back and make it just seem so effortless. But there's so much that goes into them. So, I mean, if more people have that kind of time and energy to devote to that kind of thing, then I think it's great. People should be out there doing what they can right now, like we were talking about earlier. Just anything to get the message out. The main key that people need to remember is don't allow yourself to fall into these ego traps where you're getting divided amongst the already small community of realists out there, you know? And people who watch people, you know, if you see people who you're kind of going to for information bickering amongst each other, it's not a good look, you guys. We need to stay united. This is such a bigger fight than just amongst each other here. We need to remember who the bad guy is. And it's not any of us. So don't let their division tactics take hold in your head.
Right.
Very good words there,
Anyway,
Melody.
I haven't seen any of that with you, Karen. I'm just saying with some of the other people out there speaking, it's just this petty gossip. And I'm like, why are we gossiping about each other? This is the opposite of what we should be doing.
That's right.
Because there's lots of infiltrators in there. There just is.
Yeah.
Which is not good for those that want to speak the truth. But how many people roughly watch your hangouts? I call them hangouts, but they're however you do it. You go live on Facebook. How many people watch you then on Facebook?
I wouldn't really know. I think probably close to 5,000 maybe. It just depends on the video. Some videos get shared more than others.
That's really good, because obviously when you're on Facebook and YouTube, they basically affect your algorithm. So if I was painting my nails, maybe
I've been shadow banned a lot lately.
I'm sure that's what they do to channels
So
like mine.
Yeah, they've shadow banned me quite a bit lately. So it is what it is, you know, like I keep saying, I'm just going to ride it till the wheels fall off, you know, and at least I can go quietly, or not quietly. I'm always going to go loud. I'll go loud, kicking and screaming up until the last day. But, you know, at least I'll go out knowing that I freaking did something while I had an opportunity to use these platforms and to get to the audiences and to try and share the message. I didn't just sit there like a passive little bitch, quiet, while everybody else submitted themselves to tyrants. I actually tried to stop it, you know?
Right. Did you start off that way, Melody, or has it just turned into this, or you've always been like talking truth and speaking out? Is it you started off just on yourself and then it turned into this, or has it always been this way for you?
Well, no, it started back in like 9/11, when that shit popped off. So I was a junior in high school when that happened, and I was so fucking just perplexed when it was happening. I'm like, how is this possible? Within 2 hours, these buildings are within their own footprint because of planes hit them. This doesn't make sense. And so I started actually questioning it. And then during my senior year, I took our handheld camera, which I've always kind of been into filming and all of that. And I went around town and I started interviewing people's perspectives on 9/11 as a language arts extra credit thing to submit this little video. And so I kind of did a little conspiracy truth video for extra credit. And then from then on, it's like, you know, that was 2002. And then YouTube started getting popular. And so I started going down the rabbit hole based on my interest in the 9/11 thing on YouTube at that point. And so then once you were kind of scratching the surface on the 9/11 stuff back in the early 2000s, it took you down the NWO, Agenda 21, all of this stuff, right, back then. Now, those videos are non-existent on there, or you really, really have to dig to find them. But most of those original videos, which were so much better, well, and more informative what there is out there now, are removed. So all of that just kind of has seeped into me subconsciously, and throughout the years, you know, I was reading Bill Cooper stuff and Orwell and all of this stuff, and I started noticing, like, well, there's chemtrails and all of this. But I met my husband, my ex-husband, and it was kind of like I started being quiet because it wasn't something he really was into, you know? And so it was like I quietly would share things and stuff, but my Facebook wasn't public, and I wasn't nearly as vocal because I was concerned about, like, what his family was going to think of me, and, you know, how I was going to be viewed by everybody. And then this March, when everything just started happening, I'm like, you know, I can't. I know too much about what's happening. I would be a fool if I tried to sit and be quiet. So then I made my Facebook public, and I started videos, and I started speaking out, and it just kind of took off. And then that's how I've gained the following that I have now, is just basically in that short amount of time since I went public in March.
Yeah.
Alan, have you got any questions you want to hear now?
No.
He just wants to be in on the. He wants to be in, don't you? You just want to be in listening.
And Alan's always such a great listener. He's always on my videos, leaving his wisdom in the comments or sharing the message with his people. So much love to you, Alan. Thank you so much for the support, my friend.
And
All my ear hears golden words. It put words to my tongue.
Aww. And thank you, Alan, for obviously putting me to Melody. He was going, you've got to watch this woman. You've got to watch her. Weren't you, Alan?
Yeah, you know, I think I say things that a lot of people are thinking, but I just kind of have this unique ability to cuss around a lot.
How does Facebook
really
cope with you?
fires people up.
Facebook copes with you okay then, does it?
What's that?
Facebook copes okay with you saying what you're saying then?
You know, not always. Not always.
It seems like Facebook picks on people on certain areas.
Yeah.
I've seen some people say that they get banned for doing something, and I've done that, and they don't come at me. But then I get banned for things that other people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, it's all algorithms. I'll deactivate my account randomly from time to time just to kind of reset the algorithm and try and see if I can counteract the shadow banning and stuff. So, you know, it's hit or miss, but like I said, it's weaponized right now against us. And so there's a whole psychological war that's taking place, and it's all being done in the minds of people through this information. So as long as we can try and do what we can to counteract the false narrative that the mainstream people are feeding on, you know.
I don't see why there's a problem. I mean, not everybody's going to agree on the same thing, but you basically, it's right, you just get shadow banned instead, or they do something to your algorithm. They just don't want the people knowing the truth. That's what I see. Yeah. They just want you going, yes, I agree with everything that you're saying. When actually a lot of us don't agree with it.
You know, it's just another form of oppression. I mean, we're dealing with dictators, so we're dealing with fascists. I mean, so when we're talking about the kind of reality we're living in, it's not surprising that this is what they're doing to silence people in the back door, you know. So the man behind the curtains kind of pulling certain strings to keep the truth from being spoke. So
yes.
I just find it.
And now they're they tell us we're dangerous if we put any information out too. Don't they do that, Karen? Like with some of your videos and stuff. They'll say you gave misinformation about this, virus, and you could harm people. That's I got a strike on Facebook one time, and it says something like that. Not a strike, but whatever they call it.
Isn't that silly?
Yeah, I mean,
when they do that, it's like the criminals who have an agenda to harm are sitting here telling us who have an agenda to help that we're causing harm. It's like, wow, we are living in the upside down at this point.
Oh, isn't that the truth? Yes.
They're using a double speak.
Yes.
And
yes.
we're coming. We countering it.
Yes. Definitely double speak.
It's truly backwards. Yeah.
Yes.
It's quite alarming, really. I just can't almost believe where we are. I mean, when you're ignorant to it all, you obviously don't notice it. I'm not sure whether it's best to be ignorant when you wake up and all this and the things that we've looked at, the things we've talked about. It's just quite alarming, to be honest, that they've put us in this position. To be honest.
Yes.
It's very disturbing, and I've thought that same thought, Karen. I thought,
I can't believe it almost. It's like, where was this life?
Would it be easier just to be a little drone person?
Where was this life that we thought we had? We don't have it at all, and they've taken it away overnight, basically.
Right.
Haven't they? They've changed everything overnight and made it look like we're probably not even going back to the way it was. We can't. This is the normal now.
Oh no.
They love us frightened. They love us. They love us in fear. They want us in fear.
Yeah,
exactly. And this is exactly what they want. This is what people are having a hard time understanding, is that this is their normal now. If they don't stop consenting, this will be their normal draconian future of control at every turn. I mean, we're talking in some places it's not essential to even buy winter clothing. The amount of stupidity in that alone. Who is anybody to say when you can and cannot buy a winter coat? But you can go 2 aisles over and buy a bottle of whiskey, you see.
Right.
Yeah, nothing's right, is it? It's all wrong.
Has got to end, and the only way it's going to end is when the citizens of Earth stand against the tyranny and start taking a stand against this complete NWO takeover. Period.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Well, I was on vacation in the summer, and I went to the state that was very into the masks and everything. But they said if you had a medical condition, you didn't have to wear one. So I tried to use that, but it didn't work, and I ended up, the employees were blowing whistles at me, and I told them, you're going to be very upset in the next year. I said, this isn't going to end. I said, these masks and everything is not about a virus. I said, it's about control and a certain agenda. They were looking at me, the people with these wide eyes. Some of them were looking at me like I was crazy. Some were looking at me with hatred. It was very awful. But I tried to warn them, and I don't go out much, but when I do, I try to tell the truth. And my sister, she doesn't like it. If she's with me, she tries to shut me down and shut me up. And I can't. So she says, just don't come to the store with me or anything, because I'm not going to wear the mask. And nobody.
That's ridiculous in itself, Amy, isn't it? That thing. Making us wear that thing.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what they want. Is they want families turned against families.
Oh,
they want us all turned against each other, and that's what's getting sad, is that
it's happening as well, Melody. Melody, it's happening.
Yep,
it is. Their families are turning against each other over masks.
I know.
I mean, come on.
I
Good
know.
God, what the hell is wrong with you people?
And it's not
Yeah.
law. It's not law.
Right.
No, it's suggested. And that's another thing that people can't fucking comprehend, is that these people are suggesting it. And it's you're volunteering your consent to it that's giving it power. They can't make
Exactly.
you. It goes against natural law to make somebody do something like that. And that's
Yes.
where people need to realize with the vaccine stuff. They can't force you. They'll dangle $1,500 in front of your face, or they'll say they're going to use military to force you, but ultimately they can't. Your consent is a necessity. It's required, and too many people are going to willingly abide by it at this point. And they don't even know what the harm of this mRNA stuff being injected into them is going to be.
I know.
Period.
Lyrus. Remember
talking-
Lyrus. Remember the word Lyrus.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Did I?
No, it's fine,
God
it's
damn it,
fine.
I suck at this. See what I mean, Karen? I'm just so
No, I know.
unfiltered.
It's different when you do your own podcast, isn't it? And you say what you say, but going on YouTube, you just got to be careful what you say. Unfortunately, to say what I wanted to say, I'd be saying a lot more, Melody. That's what would happen if I wasn't so gagged.
I know, and it's sick. Yeah, we know, man. This is sick.
What does it matter if we have different opinions? What difference would it make if we all have different opinions? We're not allowed to have a different opinion.
Exactly.
No, they want us all in their indoctrinated bubble. They don't want people free thinking. That's the thought police. You know what I mean? In Orwell's
Yes.
1984, the thought police. They don't want you thinking.
Exactly.
Exactly what George Carlin says.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, George Carlin.
I find it-
is right on.
I find it a very sad place to be honest, where we are right now. I really do. I just cannot believe that people have believed it all and haven't questioned it all.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, we can go to Tesco's and get our shopping and buy clothes, but you can't go down the high street and buy clothes. It comes for you in your house, but you can go to a pub and sit with hundreds of people. And then you've got to leave at 10 o'clock because it comes at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
You know, all these things, it's just ridiculous.
It's
I know.
absolutely ridiculous because you can see how moronic it sounds when you're listening to it. It's like, that doesn't even make sense. So why are we complying? Because at this point,
Well, because I think there's a set of
this is not about safety. This is all about controlling people.
awake
Right.
people and empaths are different to the people that can't wait to wear the mask and that. We're different kind of people to them. That's what it is.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not, we're different people.
The
Yes.
morbidly obedient type, yeah. I've always been a rebel. I can't.
Yeah, you're definitely a rebel, Melody. You're definitely one of those.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
Melody's number one rebel on this on this talk today. She's number one rebel.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I do
Bastard.
think people are seeing how crazy it is as this is drug one longer and longer. Like here, the restaurants close at 10 o'clock. You have to wear a mask to get in, but then once you're in, of course, you can take it off or whatever. And people, I'm hearing people that weren't noticing before, they're seeing that something is wrong. But I just don't want it to be too late. I feel like if we could just, sometimes I wanted to just shout from the rooftops to warn people.
The thing is, Amy, they've made their agenda, haven't they? And that's why the press and the
Yes.
media keep sticking all this stuff out all the time.
Oh, yes.
It's just a big agenda.
Yes. Even as we've been talking, I've been getting all kind of notifications about the virus remedy and different things.
Oh my.
They emailed Amy and asked her if she wanted to be one of the guinea pigs.
Yes.
Oh, for
Right.
shit's sake.
And they'd
Yeah.
pay her, Melody, they'd pay her $1,500 to do it.
Yeah.
And that's about what people are having to do is be bribed into this. And they've
Yes.
made everybody so desperate And as part of their agenda is to just really cripple people and cripple these economies so that people are really, desperate for funds. And that does sound enticing to a sheep person. Imagine if Amy wasn't woke. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is a blessing from God. I just got this. So people are deceived.
Amy went, oh my God, look what they've sent me. Look what they've sent me.
And didn't take the bait.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's fucking criminal. Nauseating.
Oh. I know, it is. It is nauseating, yes.
If you're Alan, what do you think then? But you have to use the word virus if you're going to say it. But what do you think, Alan?
I think most of the people believe that the vaccine is safe and are going to take it.
Yeah, there are people I know who are wanting to take it. I don't know too many people, but I know this one lady told my sister, she works at a school cafeteria, this lady. She said this was over the summer, they were still doing work at the cafeteria even in the summer, and she was wearing her mask. She was very dismayed that her coworker was not at her chin level. And then the lady told my sister, I'm just going to wear my mask until that vaccine comes out. So I told my sister, I said, didn't you tell her that, she doesn't want to get that? And my sister pretty much doesn't take interest in all this type of thing. So she said, no, I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I said, hurt her feelings? I said, you have to tell her. It's not good for her. But so that's one person I know, just indirectly. But yeah, I can't believe anybody would want to take it when they're in. So
what they've done is they've actually done is they've taken the common cold out and called it COVID. That's what they've done.
Yeah.
So there's no such thing as the common cold or flu anymore. It's called this other thing.
Right.
In 1989, in the medical book, it was listed as the common cold and flu.
Yes.
Right. Well, it's been around for a long time, and people don't understand.
Did we cure it? Did we cure it? No, we didn't. Sorry, we didn't cure the cold, did we, or flu? It's something that you get. No. Your body's getting rid of all those toxins.
It has nothing to do with viruses, because that viruses is a hoax. It's the immune system. Right.
Yeah.
And they got us eating poison and breathing the chemtrails and the smart dust and.
Yeah, we're being sort of attacked every angle, aren't we? We're just being attacked from every angle that they can get us on. It's just such a horrible system.
A slow poison kill.
Right. We're on the slow kill. That's right, Alan. And it's absolutely 100% normal. Our bodies are in alignment with nature. We're all energetic beings, and as the seasons change, our bodies are in alignment with that. So it's pretty typical during spring and fall for our bodies to go through a natural detox of our lymph system where most of the toxins are held, hence why a lot of congestion has happened and all of this. But you take a stupid ass who's wore a mask through the summer months, breathed in their own bacteria, suffocated themselves, brain deaded their brain cells on CO2, and you take a dum-dum like that and you detox them under nature's natural process. And these people who've been stricken by fear-mongering, wore and complied with this mask bullshit, and come in and their body's going through this natural purging, then they go in hysteria because of the fear, and they go to these places and take this faulty fucking test who the goddamn creator himself said wasn't supposed to be used for this bullshit, and then they get a faulty positive, and there you go on the news to the cases for the hysteria propaganda, and then you got this simpleton who's actually just going through their body's natural detox, but it's a little bit more severe this year because they were an idiot complying with dum-dum shit and suffocated themselves and toxified themselves, breathing in CO2 and their own bacteria that their body was trying to expel for a year. So then they're going to call it this big bag boogie bug, but in reality, it's their own fucking stupidity and the nature's way of detoxing them from the stupid bacteria that they breathed
Do you know what
in
I'm
for
really,
months and months
Melody?
and months.
Melody, do you know what I'm really shocked about? I'm shocked that doctors don't know. I'm just so shocked that people who should know what this is all about, like doctors, all should be struck off.
Well, I think the doctors do know, but there's two things. We're dealing with the medical mafia in the medical industry, period. Big pharma owns them. And a lot of doctors are not ethical, and I'm sorry to say that, but they don't get into taking care of patients. Back in the day, somebody became a doctor because they were healers, and they cared about people, and they wanted to make people well. Now, people get into that profession because it's big bucks. Everything's about the almighty dollar, period. That's it, profit. And the doctors get into the medical field not because their heart is in the tender, caring spot of care for people and humanity, but because they see their lifestyle of luxury being built by that profession. And these people are getting incentives. You know, that's been proven, the financial incentive based on the false diagnosis of the bullshit Orwellian hoax lie risk. So you can't trust these people. They're not ethical. These aren't ethical people. I've been denied medical treatment. I've been denied medical treatment because I would not wear a mask into these practices. And I thought to myself, you don't give a fuck about me and what you only give a fuck about, well, it's for insurance purposes. Everybody has to wear a mask. No, everybody does not.
Policy.
I will not. And I will not.
Order followers.
Yep.
Melody, Amy, her dad wasn't quite in this virus, but he got brain tumour and they gave him chemotherapy. And when you work out that chemotherapy is mustard gas, they're not trying to save us.
No.
He didn't.
I learned a lot through that.
He didn't. Unfortunately, Amy's dad died, but he didn't die from the brain tumour. He died from complications of having the treatment.
Absolutely, yes. And
that's awful.
It was one big lie. They did not tell us the truth. We didn't know. I wasn't as awake, and this diagnosis hit us out of nowhere. They said the radiation would kill the tumor and shrink it, and he'd live 2 more years, and it might not even grow back. The radiation left him paralyzed, destroyed his immune system, and that's why he died ultimately.
And not just that, Melody, listen to this. They said you have to tell your dad to let go. Tell him to let go in front of him.
Oh, it was awful. Yeah, so I learned all about how bad the medical industrial complex is through my dad's experience. 9 months of hell last year, from March through December. Then ironically this year, March through where we are now, we have this what we're dealing with.
Oh my gosh, that's so awful.
She had to tell her dad to let go, but they said, tell him, right in front of him. They're going, tell him.
Oh, it was awful. And they told us that they made us feel guilty if we didn't want to tell him that. And he had a fighting spirit. But they made us feel guilty. They wanted him in hospice. They kind of bullied us into getting him in a hospice program. And then he went in there, and what they do in the hospice is they just basically dehydrate you and give you morphine and till you stop breathing. But we didn't know, and it was Christmas, so he was in that program, and he did really poor during Christmas Day, and if he would have done all right, we were going to pull him out of the hospice program. But once they start them on the morphine, it just ruins all their breathing. But it was horrible. So I did learn all about Western medicine and what it's all about. Through
my goodness.
Her dad was just before where we are now, but they haven't really changed anything. Do you know what I mean? Nothing's got better. Everything's worse now.
Right.
I mean, I'm
right.
not going to the doctors unless I really, really need to. Like I'm seriously ill. I'm not going for any other reason.
Right.
Who wants to go and
Definitely
see a
now,
doctor?
because it's like, what good is it going to do you? They're just going to try and test you and enter you into a contract Nazi tracing program. I mean,
Exactly.
it's sick what's happening where we can't because I refuse to be entered into a contact tracing system. I'm not consenting to any of this. And it's everywhere you turn. The neighbors now, what the hell? Neighbors snitching on each other. I mean, what does this remind you guys of? Really.
Exactly. The Nazi Germany.
Exactly. And people refuse to see the parallels between the two eras. Like, well,
I know.
here we go again. History repeats itself.
I know. I just don't understand how people haven't got that. Like you said, we're never going to have concentration camps again. We're never going to do this. They make it all about, the Germany and armies and all that. And actually, they're just doing it all over again now. People seem to have forgotten suddenly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's absolutely normal for them to erect internment camps for people who refuse to get tested for a flu with a 99.9% recovery rate.
I know. It's very frustrating.
To the camp because they just won't get the swab. It's like, fuck you people. You guys are goddamn brainwashed drones, and I'll be damned if I go willingly to a fucking camp because I don't want to have their stupid swab shoved in my nose.
That's right.
And also, I don't understand about Melody.
I'm not contagious. I'm not sick. And it's you brainwashed fucking morons running around here believing this asymptomatic nonsense. Who in the fuck heard of asymptomatic prior to this year? What a hoax of nonsense. Convincing healthy people that they're sick by calling them asymptomatic. If we lived our life like that up until now, nobody would have done everything because everybody would have been asymptomatic. Asymptomatic is healthy, fuckers. Wake up. God damn, I'm sorry. Not yelling at you ladies, but I get fired up.
It's okay, Melody. We're with you. Don't you worry. I'm sure Alan's with you as well, aren't you, Alan?
Dr. Fauci himself said that it's highly unlikely that asymptomatic. It was Dr. F. He said that in the history of epidemics or pandemics, that it's never asymptomatic people that drive these when you have an epidemic or a pandemic. You never have asymptomatic. I actually saw a video where he said that himself. He said it's never asymptomatic people that drive it. And then that's what they're trying to tell us now, that it's the asymptomatic people that you have to
Thing is, they're pushing it.
Your fucking storyline, you lying criminals.
They're pushing it so badly, Melody.
Why don't you stick to one lie, please? I mean, the reality is that that's how they're inflating these cases, because asymptomatic or AKA healthy people have been somehow convinced that they could be contagious by being healthy. And they're going and getting tested with a faulty fucking test that is not recommended to be used for this sort of thing. So they're inflating these cases and these numbers by brainwashing people who are healthy to believe that they are somehow contagious.
Yeah.
And people's consent and compliance with going and getting tested when they feel perfectly fine and fucking dandy is the problem here. Local pharmacies, and they have these pop-up test centers here, right? Where they're like standing outside and people drive up and get tested. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? I think that in my mind. I'm like, it must be a real special kind of stupid.
Yes.
To go and get in line to get swabbed for something when you.
Yeah.
Holy shit, Ellen, you're right. Yeah.
The problem because they indoctrinate all these lies.
Right. The schools, that's true.
And then we've been brainwashed all our life.
The whole of our life is a lie. All of it.
Yes.
And then a lot of them, they just don't even want to hear it.
No.
They can't handle it.
No, they can't handle the truth. That's right.
It's fun, ladies, chatting with you. What a pleasure. It's great talking with you guys.
Yeah, well, we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. I don't know how long you want to go on for.
For sure.
I just knew you guys would hit it off.
Yes.
Do you want?
I've been at this for like 8-10 years. My old account got trashed because they completely destroyed my computer, and I can't get back into it. I had over 1,600 friends that I picked out all by myself.
Wow, that's cool.
Back now, and you're with a vengeance, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just gotta watch my comments so that I don't get banned.
Yeah, right.
Well,
I tell Facebook what it be like all the time.
Doing an awesome job. Everybody who's out here at least trying to do something to keep the truth alive and well is definitely worth
you're all heroes.
man.
Heroes.
These are hard times.
Because a lot of people aren't.
I find it's the hardest of the people that I live around that I know that are friends with me on Facebook. They're the ones they're the ones that are the sheep with masks, and want to take the vaccine.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
We can't save them all, man. People are gonna make their own choice. It's sad.
I live in a small area, small towns, and it seems like I'm the only one that's doing this research.
Same here, Alan.
I don't think we can save everybody, though.
But I've been running the court system for a year now, and they still can't get past the language on the document.
Well.
But we're not here to save everybody, though, are we? We're running out of time.
I talked to the DA, and I gave a 30-page presentation all on the Justinian deception on the language. And it was like one of his ear and out the other one. He said he didn't know nothing about it.
Of course he doesn't.
Well, you know more than them, Alan.
That's right.
Yes.
Absolutely, Ellen. Keep schooling them.
That's what they did. They arrested me for a couple hours, and I schooled all the jailers.
Good for
You
you.
did?
That's awesome.
It's very hard to be the only awake people around. I don't have any awake people around me, really, except the people I know, like Karen, and meet people, through her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
my family is divided now. It's me and my one younger sister against my mother and my older sister.
Oh, that's awful, Alan.
They're the mask wearers. They're the outsiders, and now they think they got the COVID.
Oh my gosh.
That's awful. They think they have it, Alan?
Yep.
I know a lady that I worked with, and she texted me. She said she was feeling very ill, and I know she's not an awake person, and it's no sense in trying to, I don't know her that well, it's no sense trying to tell her anything. So she texted me. She said that she went and got the test for the virus. And I said, well, how was it? Did it hurt? She said, no, it was just uncomfortable. Then I asked her the next day, well, did you get your result? She said, yeah, it came back positive. She said, please don't mention it to anybody, like that we knew. But I said, well, did they give you any medicine or what did they do? She said, just told her to stay home, take cough medicine, and eat soup and drink tea. And she felt pretty bad for a week, and now she said she feels great. And she's in her late 50s, and she's fine, so I never told her anything about you don't trust the test, that the test is a scam and all that. I just asked her how she was doing. But point is,
you be sure to.
What's that, Melody?
You be sure to mention to her, Amy. You be sure to mention to her. Well, you know what? There's no need for you to take a vaccine now because you have natural immunity.
Absolutely. Yes.
So do not let her forget that, because they're going to still try and jab her. And you tell them, nope, actually, I have natural immunity now because I had tested positive and my body fought it off on its own, so I don't need your poisonous concocted piece of shit.
Yep, I am. I'm gonna
jab, you take it and jab it up your arse, man. That, okay? Because in that age category, the jab is going to be real dangerous for people. They don't realize it. So be sure to say, do not get it because you have natural immunity now.
Right, you're exactly right, Melody. I was thinking that, and I will tell her that. And I thought, yeah, you're probably better off if you tested positivity. So that's right. That's a great point, and I am going to tell her that about she doesn't need the Vivian double X or whatever. So
exactly.
Yes, that's a great point. I know. Karen has been messaging me. She evidently she's speaking and we can't hear her, so I don't know.
Oh, bless her.
Yeah, you lot are all talking so much.
I heard from her.
Can you hear me?
Oh, we gotta also remember that most people are on medication, and that wounds your immune system.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Medication, yes, that's what happened to my dad. But that was the chemo or the radiation that did it.
Absolutely, it's a big racket, man, and
I know.
That's what they outlaw. You know, a lot of holistic people were speaking out against stuff, and they ended up dead.
I know
it. That's quite convenient for Big Pharma, right?
Sure.
People who are natural healers were just popping up dead left and right. How convenient.
Exactly. And I unfortunately didn't do my research till it was too late. I was busy working all the time, and I didn't ever think that my dad, he was always so healthy. I never thought he'd end up with something like a deadly brain tumor, but
right.
I didn't do my research. I did some, and Karen helped me know some things like fresh fruit and sodium bicarbonate and stuff like that, but it was too late, or even certain plants. And I wound up telling the doctors, I said, look what you've done to my father, because they really damaged him. And I said, if I was to have a plant that I would try to grow that could have helped him, I'd have a SWAT team out in my backyard or whatever. And I said, but look what you've done to him. And I told him they were Nazis and everything. I was so fed up. And we wanted to meet with the doctor after he passed away. And he was very reluctant to meet with us. So then I Googled about medical industrial complex and found out about that the Rockefellers took it over in the early 1900s, I believe, and they got rid of any doctors that had natural cures for things. And so then I knew why the doctors
completely monopolized it with their freaking people sick.
Right.
Yep.
So, and I knew why and then I was going to go on a campaign against all of it, but then here came the pandemic, so I just pursue it. So.
Yeah. Well, my darlings, it's been a pleasure talking to you guys. I'm going to have to jump off of here and continue on with my evening, but man, it was just sure it was an honor speaking with such lovely woke people. I really appreciate you guys.
Oh, thank you, Melody.
It's been a pleasure. Karen, I know you can't hear me, but I enjoyed our conversation, and
I hear you. You don't hear me.
Seeing more of you guys.
Yep.
I hope you guys all have a great afternoon, okay?
You too.
Or a great night, depending on where you're at, right?
Yeah, I'm on the East Coast, so it's almost 6 o'clock.
Okay, well, I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your time for the day, and we'll talk later, okay, guys?
Oh, yes, Melody, thank you.
Thanks very much. Melody, can you hear
What a
me?
pleasure. Take care, all.
You too, Melody, and thanks for all
Thank,
you.
thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Bye, Melody.
Bye, Melody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Melody.
Hey, can you hear me
Thanks,
now?
Amy.
Hey, Alan, I don't know what's going on with Karen.
Can you hear
She
me?
must have had some difficulties.
No, I'm here. I'm here. They can't hear me.
Quiet. Then she was texting me, private messaging me, or whatever, saying,
Okay.
"Do you hear me? Do you hear me?"
Uh-huh.
I don't know if she turned the recorder off or what. She's.
Wait a minute.
Okay, well, thanks for coming on.
You're welcome, Ellen. It was nice.
I've been enjoying listening to Karen, Sun and Moon, and with you on there. I like.
Thanks, Alan.
Yes.
We couldn't hear you.
No, it was a bit weird. I was going, can't you hear me? So that'll be on my recording. But